Welcome to A Taste of AZ podcast, where we interview everyone from James Beard award-winning chefs to local mixologists, winemakers, breweries, and so much more. We've got an awesome episode lined up for you today. But before we get into that, head to atasteofaz.com so you can subscribe to our quarterly magazine and email newsletter to find all of the best places to eat and drink around town. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Now let's get into the episode.
What a beautiful place, first of all.
Gorgeous.
To do the podcast.
One of my favorite resorts.
Yes. Well, I pulled in, right? I pull in, and I've been here before. We went to G&G one time with some friends, which the view from there is incredible.
Mm-hmm. I just took my parents there for the 60th anniversary.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
Happy
their first
60th
time. I know. It was pretty nice. And the team was fantastic. I mean, it was just a special time. My aunt and uncle flew in from New Hampshire, and my brother and my sister-in-law. So J&G.
Yeah. Place to be.
Yeah.
Nice.
That sounds like
nice.
Rhymes.
a little jingle. J&G is a place to be.
For sure. I love it.
So, Christina, we are in the presence of a true local celebrity.
We are.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna react like that. You seem like a very humble person. but we're
Jamie
gonna
is
throw
quite
some,
beloved.
Thank you, Christine.
You are.
Well,
You are.
thank you.
Yeah.
This podcast is going very well so far.
I
am really enjoying
She's
it.
going to do this one all the
Oh,
time.
exactly. It's just praising Jaime
Thank
Cerreta
you.
podcast.
Oh.
Welcome to episode number 1.
Oh.
But no, thank you for joining us,
Yeah,
Jaime.
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
When you say that, it means a lot because the little girl in me goes,
Yeah.
because I wanted to be someone in this community who brought light
Yeah.
to the special corners and pockets and things that maybe you wouldn't find on your own.
Yeah.
And to know that maybe I'm viewed in that way and that maybe I accomplished that childhood dream makes me very happy. Thank you for
I would say
introducing
you
me
did.
that way.
I would say
Thank
you did. Yes. And if you're anything like us, like we feel like things are just getting started.
Oh,
right?
man.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the last 10 years have been on fire.
Yeah.
And what I really love about Phoenix is the collaboration that you see within people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people working together to lift each other up,
Yep.
to hand each other up, to pull them along the way with them.
Absolutely.
You've been in the market long enough. Christina has for a very long time. We see a lot of the same faces. We see a lot of new people coming in, and we see those same faces, helping that new generation.
Right. I was going to say being mentors
Yes.
and guiding the next chapter of our scene.
I always
Yeah.
feel like Phoenix is very collaborative. I'm very proud of that as far as, I do a lot of stories with business owners and entrepreneurship. And I think that there's a lot of collaboration. People think that it's not a local town. It's not, a lot of people who came here.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of networking that happens here and a lot of opportunity, I think, as well.
The vibe, the people, like it's different, right? So I grew up in Northeastern Ohio, obviously completely different culture there, old steel cities and stuff like that. But you come here and it's a big city and there's so much going on, but like just the attitude of people it's a positive energy.
I've interviewed chefs before who've worked all over the country, and more than one has said that either they were from LA or Chicago, big food cities, and how this is just a better vibe. The people are nicer. There's more camaraderie.
Yeah.
So I thought that was nice. And, these are chefs that are well known.
Right.
So,
Well, you got to give credit to the sunshine. I mean, I know we're getting into the hot months, but you wake up and you throw the doors open, you see that sunshine,
That's
you
right.
hit the road and you look at Camelback Mountain, you hang out at the Phoenician for a podcast.
Yeah.
It's hard to be in a bad mood.
For sure.
I'm feeling pretty collaborative right now.
Yeah, good. Well, we haven't hit you with the hard questions yet, so
here
that might
here
change
comes
the mood.
Christina.
Well, so Jamie, you're born and raised
Yeah.
Arizona, right?
I'm very
Nice.
proud of that.
Awesome.
So I knew I was coming on a foodie podcast, so I thought about how I was going to tell you where I was raised.
Yeah.
I was born at St. Joe's, so shout out to the great people at St. Joe's
Heck yeah.
Hospital. And then I grew up at the corner of Fire by Will and PB Wine and Pie.
oh, nice.
wow.
So that's
Like
kind of what that
Tatum and
neighborhood.
Shea.
There you go.
Yeah.
See? I didn't
Nice.
want to say Tatum and Shea. I thought that'd be boring.
No, I like the other description.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up going to PD Mall as a
Yeah.
kid. I went to Cherokee and Cocopah and Chaparral. I got my first job at a TCBY
Wow.
yogurt over there. I think it's over where Chris Collins has his place, like Grassroots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Right.
Provisions. It was over in that little neighborhood. So
Of
that's
course,
where I met.
and it involved food.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Now, I did dabble a little when I needed money for prom, and I would work at the candy factory because people always ask, did you work at the candy factory?
Yeah, so Jamie's roots go back through generations here.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know if
Okay.
you knew that.
No, I did not.
Jamie, you want to tell him?
I would. I think that's why I'm invited here. So my family also, the Cerretas are from Canton, Ohio.
No way.
So Canton, Ohio.
That's where I went to college.
Ready for the long road?
Yeah.
Here we go. Canton, Ohio is Ben Hegge's. So Ben Hegge is my grandfather's father-in-law.
Okay.
He has Hegge's chocolate. It stands still to this day.
Yeah.
And Ben Hegge's sister was Mary Coyle. Longtime Phoenicians will recognize that name, Mary Coyle Ice Cream.
Okay.
So Mary Coyle Ice Cream moved out here to Phoenix. They called up the Cerretas. Okay, I'm going to go back one more. My grandfather, Jim
Hold on, let
Cerreta.
me erase this
Yeah,
part.
you write all this down. Thank goodness we're recording. Thank you, Luke. So my grandfather, the story goes, Jim Cerreta Sr. sat next to his would-be bride, Beverly Hegge,
Yeah.
and she would feed him candies from her
Yeah.
father's candy factory. They fell in love. They were in love from third grade or whatever that was until death. Happy, giggling, lovely people, happily married. And so that's when Jim Cerreta got into the candy business with his father-in-law.
Okay.
So Mary Coyle called up Jim Cerreta, said, come on down and do Cerreta candy over here. So we had Hegge's in Canton, Ohio. Cerreta candy came over here and was adjacent kind of to Mary Coyle ice cream.
Okay.
And so my grandfather moved the family, my father being one of them,
Yeah.
the eldest.
Was he tall too?
8, yes. in stature and everything, yes. Tall in mind and intelligence and all the things. Yes, I do. So anyhow, yeah, my father, I think the 7 or 8, and the whole family moved out
Wow.
here
Okay.
to Phoenix. And then the candy factory Cerreta Candy Factory was first established in Phoenix.
Okay.
And then was lured over to Glendale to become kind of a touchstone,
Okay.
a space which is adjacent to Murphy Park over there.
Okay.
So when you would come to Glendale, you had a place to tour.
Yeah.
You know, you had this place that it was open. It was an old grocery store that we moved into. So a
Okay.
bigger facility
Yeah.
and open. So you see the machines running. It's great for tours, great for the kids.
Yeah.
We have posters of Shamrock and our local producers, for our milk, our butter, our cocoa, things like that. And so that's how they became such a big deal or, legacy business. I'm very proud of that
Yeah.
in Glendale. And they're celebrating 55 years.
Dang,
So that's
incredible.
a long time for any business, a long time for a family-owned business,
Yeah.
a long time for a business that has really opened doors to the community.
Yeah.
I was looking around for things to offer families to do here in the area. And as far as seeing things being made, there's not a lot of opportunities to see things
Sure.
be made
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
So
Everything's kind of like it's their, protecting their secrets or their processes or safety reasons,
Right,
right? Yeah. So
exactly.
to have that balance that you can,
right.
especially like candy,
Yeah.
like it's
Chocolate.
different. Yeah. If it's different, if it's like, here's how we make the legs of a chair. Like,
Yeah.
wow, that's cool.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So that's the Cerreta Candy Company
So
story.
you do have roots in food for sure, and I could tell in the passion of your voice, like these are great positive memories for you.
Yeah.
Like that's something that's
So for the Cerreta Candy Factory, people ask why I don't make candy. I fell in love with the microphone because they had a microphone there to page everyone
I
over
did
the loud
not know
factory,
that.
over the loud factory machines.
Yeah.
So we would have to, each family member would have to take a weekend, and we'd go in on the weekend and check all the pots, make sure all the machine's good, and, the chocolate's at the right temperature, everything's going all right. So on our week when we would go, I was a kid in a candy store, and I would run to the microphone.
Yeah.
And how old were you? Like when you first
I imagine
started?
I was 8 or
Yeah.
so, and paging Jim Jr., paging Jim Jr. I had nothing else to say. That was about it. End of story. Wrap it up. How many more times can I say that? So I loved the microphone, and I also loved us cousins. We have the place where the big boxes of candy that are prepared to being shipped out go on those rollers. so you have the boxes, and then you have a piece of cardboard, hard cardboard, and then you have the rollers. Well, where the boxes should be scooted down, us kids would get on that.
Oh,
And we would create a little slide, and we'd be sliding in and out, and just having a ball there. And then my mom and dad ended up owning, when they were in their 20s, a Mary Coyle ice cream that sits, Chef Beckett's in that space now. Beckett's table.
Oh, I was just there last night.
So Chef Beckett told me that he saw the facade, the old Mary Coyle facade, when he moved into that building, and they were doing some repairs. And so my mom and dad had that space for a while. And I remember as a little girl, that's where we'd go after school. We'd sit in that little pink and white with the little sweetheart kind of chairs. And we would wait for mom and dad to be done with school, and we'd go to field trips there. They take people.
Sounds like such a wonderful childhood. I wish we had hung around with Jamie.
I know.
Life is still good, Christina.
Candy, microphones, ice cream. We actually met at a restaurant.
Oh, you don't say.
Okay.
Which one was it?
It was Foundry.
Oh, yes, I remember
and
now.
Susie Tim introduced us.
And she said, "We think that you two will like each other."
Yeah, so she sat us next to each other.
And Leah Lemoyne.
And we've been friends ever since. And Leah,
Yep. She said,
Leah
"Sit
Lemoyne's
next to these two."
managing editor at Phoenix Magazine.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a fun night, and we've been friends ever since.
So thank you, Susie Tim.
Yep. That
nice.
She set us up.
She sure did.
Yeah, she knew.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah. What was Foundry?
It's Match. It's
the Foundry Hotel, and the restaurant was Match at the time.
Yeah.
It's still Match, I think.
So.
Yeah, I haven't been in a long time.
I was thinking there was a burger place where I think Corriente Tacos is now.
Yes.
Remember that burger place where they cooked in like a
and the chef was
degree-
Matt.
Okay.
I forget. I think he did like coal-fired burgers.
Yeah, it was like the oven got like super hot. I remember going to
it was some fancy
burger,
oven. Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, this looks really good." I'm like, "Can I add cheese?" And they were like, "You shouldn't add cheese." I'm like, I've never had a burger without cheese. He's like, "Trust me." And I had him like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible." I've only had it. I only had it that one time, but now
that's where you're supposed to say, "Yes, chef."
Yes, yeah, exactly. I learned. Yeah, I learned for sure. So when you say you fell in love with the microphone, where did it go from there? Like, so did you kind of know at that point, like, okay, I want to.
I think I did not know.
Okay, yeah.
I loved Radio Shack.
Okay.
So I was
Radio
a little
Shack.
girl
In
my preteens who wanted to go spend a Saturday afternoon at Radio Shack.
That's great.
Very strange. I think I've always loved the technology, though. I remember getting a VCR, and I sat down with the book and figured out how to do it. And I set up the VCR. I was
timed
the first,
recordings and stuff like that. Yeah.
I remember making little splice tapes.
Yeah.
And so I think I always loved the recording. I loved the technology. I was the first to have a pager, first to have a cell phone, would like spend time figuring out how things worked there.
Yeah.
So I think there was just that love of technology and communication. I always loved phones too, and pens.
Yeah.
So I feel like I had all kind of the components for what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
Sounds like it led you to the perfect position.
Yeah.
All your interests,
Thank you.
between the food and we'll talk about your local love later, but that's just kind of cool the way your journey led you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So did you have a path like, because I'm always curious for this because up until I was 38, like I tried so many things. I'm trying to find my path and people laugh at me. They're like, why did it take you 38 years to learn, for you to figure out that food is your, like I've loved food from like day one. But so I'm always very interested in people who kind of find a path, earlier in life. So for you, what did you have something you were wanting to work towards?
Yes.
Yeah.
This was it.
Okay.
Honest to God,
Nice.
this was it. And so that's why when people recognize me in the way you did at the top of the podcast, it means so much to me because I worked very hard. It was not easy. It was very painful and heartbreaking at some times.
Yeah.
But it feels good now. But my goal was to be a local news anchor in Phoenix and someone who could make a difference in the community as well.
Yeah.
So I, went to Chaparral, went to ASU at Cronkite. So I went to Cronkite. I was just celebrating Joe Rosamano. I want to give him a shout out. Professor Joe, 30 years at Cronkite. He's taught our students.
Happy
he just
30th
retired.
anniversary.
Yes. Yeah.
He retired.
Oh, he retired.
Last
Happy
night.
retirement.
Yeah. So I got to see him.
Last night, you said?
Yes.
Wow.
So I got to
Like
see him. And
30 years
cool.
in one day.
So pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But how many people come through ASU and go on to do whatever it is they do with their broadcast degree? But I knew I wanted to be on television, and I was somehow going to make that work. But it was about the people. It was about telling the stories of the people. I remember watching Channel 1. So if anyone remembers Channel 1, it'll date me, but I don't even care anymore. I saw Lisa Ling out riding a snowmobile, talking to the people in, I don't know, Alaska, or wherever she was. And then the next time she's on a boat talking to people. And then I saw Brooke Burke, who's actually, I think, moving to our community and creating some kind of space. Do you know who Brooke Burke is? Wild On. And now she's become a health guru. Well, hello. Hi, Brooke. I hope you listen.
I hope she's listening
Welcome
too.
to town, girl. So she did Wild On, and she would talk to these people who were in these vacation spots about what they were doing. And I just loved being able to have a microphone and a camera and bring people into these experiences. Like I said earlier about seeing how things are made. You get to see how things are made, how this love is even created for this passion that they have for whatever they're creating. So I just always was passionate about other people's passion.
Yeah. That's great though. Like so how did you, so for me, I found that I kind of had a little bit of a gift with interviewing on these podcasts. And I worked at University of Phoenix for 9 years as an academic advisor. My specific role was helping people who had dropped out with like 1 or 2 classes left. Right. So my goal was to get them back into school, get them motivated, finish out this degree. And we got all kinds of great, like top level training on like conversations and interviewing and asking questions and things like that. So when I started to do podcasting, I'm like, oh dang, I learned something from University of Phoenix.
Shout out to the OP.
Yeah.
Because I had a temp job there right after college. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I approved Pell Grants.
Oh, nice.
Well, there was a point where it was like the 7 degrees of separation of University of Phoenix. Everybody knew somebody who was either worked there or my cousin worked there or something. Yeah. So for you, so that aspect of it, how were you able to, because there's the technical side, right? There's, I would say, learning how to talk into the microphone, and how did you learn the interview style?
Well, 25 years. 25 years.
Yeah.
So I've been on television in July for 25 years.
Congratulations.
Wow.
So a whole lot of trial and error. Yeah. So I also want to apologize to everyone who had to witness all the errors.
I don't feel like there were a lot of errors.
I mean, there were in the moments. So after college, I got a job at Metro Networks here in town at the time. And I did some news reading for KFYI.
Okay.
KFYI News Time, 5:10. And my first words were,
And they kept that probably.
Oh no, it was live. It was there. And then I got the big point that in the news today, and I went on.
But you did it.
And they didn't fire me, so I came back the next week and I did it again without the squeal. Yeah. And so then I worked there, and I wrote overnight. I worked from, and this is right out of college, so I'm a 22-year-old girl working 8 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, 8 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So those were rough hours.
Sure.
I was on my own. I was writing overnight by myself.
Yeah.
So I learned, I had Caroline Hagel, a good friend of mine. She taught me how to write. She works over at ADOT now. And Caroline Carpenter, her married name, I should say. So I feel like I loved my time at ASU, but as far as user friendly, this is how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
She really got in with me and helped me hammer out how to get a good, solid, clean script written.
Okay.
So out of there, I went to Joplin, Missouri to start my TV career.
Okay.
I was a one-man band reporter, which means I did all the work, which we see more of today.
Yeah.
With the smaller cameras. Back then I had, the regular size camera, the big old light that would burn me. We were covering stories out in the boonies, and I'm on my own with the cell phone that's attached to the car. But thank God we had that.
Yeah.
And I was there for a year and a half, making big mistakes, editing my shooting, finding, shooting, writing my own stories. Sometimes running my own live shot, driving myself around in a place I did not know. And then from there, I went to Springfield, Missouri, where I produced and anchored my first anchor opportunity, a morning show. I had done neither before.
Yeah.
So once again, I'd like to apologize to the community of Springfield for witnessing my trial and error.
Yeah.
Because I was producing a show, I was timing it, I had a foot pedal, I was running my own teleprompter.
Wow.
If I had an interview, I was trying to time the show, or time that interview.
Yeah.
When you think about it, when you see somebody speaking, you don't realize what's going on behind the scenes. So that's
For
pretty
sure.
impressive to
I never thought of it
especially in
that
your
way.
first years but I bet you it gave you a good base for everything that came after.
It taught me that I was not going to quit
Mm.
because I remember I was at that time, I was going into work at midnight, which meant I woke up during David Letterman's monologue.
Mhm.
10:30 at night is when my alarm hit. And then I'd go in at midnight. I'd produce the show overnight. Once again, I was on my own. I was listening to scanners, trying to cover news with no one really around but me. And then I'd try to write the show. Once again, barely skilled at that. And then I would perform it. And it was rough.
A lot.
It
That
was
is.
that I took a big beating there because I wasn't very good, but I sure was trying. And some people in the community wanted to let you know you weren't very good.
So,
I'm
so you
sure.
work really hard, and then you have to hear
Yeah.
critique.
Yeah, for sure.
How long were you there?
I was there for 1 year.
Wow.
And that was it. And so from there, I moved on to Beaumont, Texas, where I always say there's no rational reason for the amount of fun we had in Beaumont, Texas. It's Southeast Texas. It's Cajun country. You think of Texas being a lot of, cowboys and stuff. We had cowboys too, but it was a lot of just the Cajun music.
Mm.
We had Mardi Gras was huge down in Port Arthur, Texas. We would be eating boudin balls at the crack of dawn on our morning show. We just had so much fun. So I was at that point anchoring the morning show Monday through Friday, and then I would go out and shoot a story. I'd have a photographer, but I'd edit the story myself.
Okay.
And then wrap up the day. So those were long days too. But I just really loved the community was wild.
Yeah.
They were spirited, fun
The
people.
Cajun people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I had the Texas flair, but I always say that after Christmas wraps up, people are like, now what do I do? Well, 12 days later, they're getting ready for it's 12th night, and you're getting ready for Mardi
Partying
Gras.
again.
It's time to plan the floats.
Yeah.
So it was a really fun place to be.
Yeah.
And then I went and I got my first real big break was my evening anchor job. So I anchored the 9 and the 10 in Oklahoma City at the Fox station.
Yeah.
And I was there for 7 years. And that's when I developed Jamie's favorite things.
Okay.
Which then transitioned into Jamie's local love because I was in-house a lot. I wasn't out with the people a lot. And I was reading a lot of hard news, which is important. The hard news is always important.
Yeah.
I feel like people sometimes don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But it is important to know what's happening in your community and the world around you, even if it's bad news.
Sure.
You might have the key. You might have the cure. You never know what you know.
Yeah.
So you got to know.
Yeah.
And
That's a good point.
and our job is to protect and empower the community. Point blank.
Yeah.
Now, if I can entertain them a little, I'm going to do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And she's good at it.
So I'm going to do it. So that's when I had this running list, Christina, and you'll love this, that when my mom and dad would come to town, I had this running list of places I wanted to take them. It'd be like Joe's Pizza, and Joe's there. Joe's there. He's always there.
Yeah.
Chris is there. And just these people I wanted my parents to meet and have their food.
Yeah.
And I took that list to my boss and I said, we got to tell people about this stuff.
What a
They gotta
great
know.
idea, though.
It was so
Because
simple.
it was a personally curated
No, yeah.
list that you thought people from out of town should go to, locals should know about.
Yeah, so it was really fun. We have kind of a Sam Fox there. It's Good Egg Dining, and he had a bunch of restaurants that were just incredible and great experiences there. And so once that started happening, I started realizing how much it tied me into the community and how much the community wanted to know about the builders. I call them the builders of our community. When you build a business, you are providing not only a service to your customers, but you're providing jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You are providing orders for those farmers who are hopefully local, and all these people. So you are building an economy cycle,
right?
For our
it's
community.
an important part of the community that way.
And you're giving people places to go, right? People that are put in, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And they're like, we want to unwind, we want to enjoy ourselves.
Right,
and,
a gathering spot.
Yeah. And creating an experience for them. Yeah. So that's cool that you really went above and beyond of what your job duty was.
I guess I asked for another job. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I give myself another.
Yeah.
I tend to do that.
That's great though. So so you're in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
You said 7 years?
7 years.
Okay. But all of that, I feel like all of that, like you said, you apologize to the people of Springfield and stuff like that. But that's, I think that's such a key part of it is like, you can learn this, you can learn that, and you could read a book about this, but unless you're in the trenches and you're making mistakes and you're pushing yourself, you don't really grow.
And it's hard licks. You take hard licks.
For sure.
I mean, it is hard getting up, and then sometimes you said something stupid and you don't know who saw you say that something stupid.
Yeah.
One time I was solo anchoring. We were in between co-anchors, and I had hit myself on the head with my cabinet trying to throw some trash.
That is hilarious.
So I had a goose egg on my forehead, and I was a little rattly. So I'm trying to read the news that night, and I'm just trying to get through the night. It's a Friday. I'm like,
your head hurts.
Head
You're
hurts.
wondering if people can see it.
I'm trying to put concealer on.
You got a headband, like a sweatband on.
Can we get the Oprah lighting today? So I have trouble with my L's.
Okay.
And now that I've said it, people will notice it sometimes. And my S's too. I had a little speech impediment as a kid. So my S's will catch me, but my L's will too.
Yeah.
And I had to say some word. Oh, it wasn't, it wasn't illegal, but it was some L word. I feel like it had to do with an ailment or something. Yeah. So I was stumbling over this word. Let's say it was ailment. I was like, ailment.
Yeah.
So Saturday comes around. I'm walking through Walmart doing my grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. And this guy catches me. Hey, you're the news anchor. I'm like, yeah. I'm all excited. It's me. He goes, ailment. That's the word you were looking for? Ailment.
Oh my
God.
goodness.
I'm like, yeah, sir, it was me. Yeah, I got it. I messed up.
She can't get away with anything.
Yeah.
It's live. And then I turn another row, and then he's now on his cell phone telling. And then I said ailment to her. No. I'm like, I'm glad you're proud of yourself, sir.
That's a good story.
It keeps you humble.
Yeah,
It keeps you
for
humble.
sure. People will do
For
that
sure.
for you, right?
No
Whether you
doubt
ask them
about
to or
it.
not.
No doubt about it.
Let's take a quick break. Word from our sponsors.
A real quick reminder, head over to atasteofaz.com and subscribe to our email newsletter. Also, subscribe to A Taste of AZ magazine and get it shipped right to your door. Now let's get back into today's episode.
We're back. Thank you for our sponsor sponsoring.
Yes, thank you, sponsors.
Yes.
Always important.
Always, yes.
I know who pays the bills.
Yeah, for sure. Someone has to, right? So Oklahoma City, when did you were you able to come back? Yeah.
I had been knocking on the door, legit at Channel 3. I say I watched myself age in the reflection
Okay.
of that front
The
door
yeah.
at Arizona's Family.
Like you knew that was the one you wanted to
I
be
really
at.
did.
Yeah.
I became a fan of Good Morning Arizona.
Okay.
And I loved their I'm your neighbor and I'm just telling you what's up today
Yeah.
mentality.
Okay.
I'm not I don't want to talk down anybody.
Sure.
I'm not even that formal of a person.
Yeah.
And so I really felt like a casual delivery would be best for me. And it was already happening in my hometown. Now, how do I emulate it through the years? It's what I really work to do.
Yeah.
There's a time to be proper, and those hard news stories, that's what you do.
Sure.
You write them real clean, real crisp, real simple, no editorial in them. And you just read them straight.
Okay.
But when it's time to play, hey,
Yeah.
let's play with my co-anchor who's sitting next to me, who I really enjoy, and work together this close for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Let's have a little fun and show a little joy for our world around us and our community. So I've been knocking on the door. I met probably 5 of the news directors over the years, and they finally said yes. So I was asked to come on home and do a weekend anchor role. In August, it'll be 11 years for me back home at Arizona's Family.
Yeah.
I have done evening weekends, anchoring the evenings. And I'd go out and report and do all the hard news at nighttime. Stand out there at 10 o'clock on immigration stories. So I'd cover, the rallies, the Red for Ed, the murders, the I-10 shooter. I stood out in a dust storm, all the things.
Yeah.
And then I moved into a weekend. Oh, no. Then I went Monday through Friday with a 4 p.m. So I'd anchor the 4 p.m. Sometimes in between on commercial breaks, I'd be setting up my story to go shoot after.
Wow.
So in a commercial break, I'm like, can you meet me at 5:30? All right, thanks, bye, click, and then go. And then I went to weekend mornings, and that's when I joined the Good Morning Arizona team. And that's when I created Jamie's Local Love.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, I'm going to go back to weekends. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
This is something I did in Oklahoma. It was something I wanted to do here. It's going to go
with
Arizona's family. This matches our hyper local community flair we got going on.
Yeah.
Can we do it?
Yeah.
They said yes. I
said,
said,
how quick? So sorry to interrupt, but how quick was that into the from you being there? Was
I
it like
think about
day
2 years.
Oh,
we knew I would be a business reporter of some sense.
Yeah.
But it took 2 years, and it took a lot of lobbying.
Yeah.
It really did take a lot of lobbying, but what I think with the move to Good Morning Arizona now, it made sense because I was on the nights, and it didn't quite make so much sense at night.
Sure.
At night, I could pull off the business stories, like when Uptown got that big remodel. Oh, it's so beautiful. And so I was able to talk about the businesses and such there. So I love an economy story because I love the businesses story. I love the economy stories as well. So now it made sense with Good Morning Arizona, of course. And so then I said, I'd like the design to look like this. We're going to call it Jamie's Local Love. I'm going to do it once a week. And I have it'll be 10 years next year of Local Love. Yeah. So thank you to Arizona's family for letting me do it for 10 years and counting.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're pretty adamant about making it. Well, and it's not like you did the work for it too, right? When you present somebody with something, it's like, hey, this is a cool idea. Like, cool, where are you at with it? I haven't even started it. Yeah. But when you come with like, all right, here's what I have, here's design, here's all this story ideas, I think that makes it a little bit easier. And you seem like a persistent person. Like if you got an idea.
It's just easier to say yes to her.
Yeah.
Which I think our new company has realized. What you want, just give her the tools, go.
Yeah.
And they've done that with a lot of our people. Like Brianna Whitney has her True Crime Arizona, which is like done so tremendously with her true crime.
But it's nice because they see the value and worth in your ideas, which
and that
is
you're willing to work for it and keep it going, and you have passion for it. Mark McClune. Mark McClune's on TV all the time talking about sports. Man, that guy never sleeps.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. So I went to mornings, and then the 9 p.m. show became available Monday through Friday. I was dying on the vine as far as my health goes.
Okay.
And my sleep. I had a lot of eye issues. I had a lot of GI issues. I needed on a regular-ish schedule. I really did for my health. And then so I anchored the 9 p.m. and still did Local Love. And then just almost a year ago, they created this 3 p.m. show that's Monday through Friday. So please watch us at 3 p.m. on Arizona's Family through TV.
I'm gonna start recording it. Like I didn't know that. So I knew you did the podcast, but
how do you choose who you feature on Local Love?
Local Love. So we do a lot of work with our PR companies here in town who are talented and incredible.
Yes.
And we'll see them on multiple stations, talented and incredible. They get them on all the stations, And so I really try to work with the guy who says, what's a PR company? I didn't know. A lot of our stuff goes through email, folks who are like, what's a segment sheet? So I try to find the little guy who just doesn't even know about the resources yet.
Right.
Or isn't there yet.
Right.
So I really do a lot of looking on Instagram. I do a lot of referrals. Our photographers, they travel the valley. They know all the good holes and places that you wouldn't suspect. So I just lean on our community to let me know.
I love
places.
that, where you specifically look for people who might not have the resources to get the word out.
Yeah.
So, you come in and say, hey, let's tell people about you.
Yeah.
And you can always tell, everybody's always excited when you come through the door and you're filming and Jamie's like, oh, what's that? And what do you have there? And, you feel like you're along with you.
Oh, thank you. It's so much fun. It really is. It's so fun to let people just show me around.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite ones? I'm sure they're all your favorites.
They are all my favorites.
But maybe recent ones that.
Well, here's one of my favorites, and you're going to love this one. But I just love telling this story because I love a love story wrapped up in Local Love. You know what I'm going to say?
First and last?
No, but it starts with an F.
Fabio on Fire.
Fabio on Fire.
Oh, okay.
Fabio on Fire.
Yeah.
I love Fabio.
So I did a fact check with him because I said, I tell your story all the time. I just want to make sure I'm telling it right. So have you been to Fabio on Fire?
I have not, no.
Oh my gosh.
I've
so
heard
good.
great
I met
things
him when
about
the restaurant's called Fabio on Fire because he used to have a portable pizza oven that he would do events at or farmers markets and things. So anyways, go on, Jamie, since you did the fact checking.
Did you tell me about it?
I
know
have.
my Aunt Marlene told me about it.
Mm.
And then I think you were there after that. So my Aunt Marlene told me about it. And then I was like, I saw someone. Christina was there.
And he's the kindest, most generous you want to support great people like that.
Absolutely.
He is so passionate. So Fabio is Italian and he was working on a cruise ship. I think he was maybe the server at a dining table where this beautiful woman was traveling with her mother. And Fabio was intrigued. So he asked the mother if he could meet the daughter, Jennifer.
Yep.
On, the starboard deck or whatever, who knows. Yeah. and so Jennifer's like, he wants to learn English or whatever. I don't know. Anyhow, a love connection was made. Via, across the sea and language and whatever.
International waters.
Yes, international waters. Thank you. And they stayed in touch after the cruise. And he says he sent a telegram that said, like, I can't stop thinking of you. Stop. Something like that.
You've got such a good memory. You remember more of the details than I do.
Not remember. This is such a good story.
Yeah.
So anyhow, they work out a deal, right? Because partnerships are a deal. So she has to come out to Italy and work for 1 year as a barista in the family restaurant. Okay. And then he'll come here. And I think she had a sister out here in Arizona because I think she was up in one of those M states doing corporate work. And so she wanted to get back to Arizona. And he said, okay, well, I'll come if you come do 1 year. And then he came out here and they did the farmers markets. He was very successful. He has Fabio on Fire. He has his panini place.
I need to get back there. Have you been?
Yes, the panini. Oh my God.
I know.
The Bellissima.
I like the porchetta one. Actually.
That's all like my style too. I've seen the other place, the panini place, because there's a sushi.
Yeah,
place.
he has gelato.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then at Fabio on Fire, he's actually expanded twice, added a patio, and then the building next door, which was Cerreta.
You don't say. Yeah, the Cerreta Realty. Let's plug all the businesses, please.
But that's how popular he is, and everything's made from scratch. Pasta, bread. I don't know how he has time to make bread and pasta and all these things. And then he still caters.
Yeah, wow.
And he and his wife adopted 2 beautiful little girls. So he's doing all this. I just don't know how he does it.
Wow.
Get your rest, Fabio.
Yeah.
But I still need my sandwich.
I don't remember who we talked to somebody at one point and that they were very confident in their pizza. Like, yeah, we've got the best pizza in the valley, except for Fabio's.
Oh,
like,
wow.
they threw it out that like we were the best. Except
Oh my
for,
gosh!
I was like,
I wonder who that
that's good.
was.
I can't remember.
You gotta let us know.
I know. So Fabio, that's on my list now, right? So that was.
And you live up north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I'm like 10 minutes from you. So there's no reason that I shouldn't be going over there. I'm
What's
like
your
10 minutes.
excuse?
I was to say
Fabio's always there.
I know.
What's your problem?
I know. I need to go. It's on the short list. Less than 2 weeks, I will be there and I will tag you in it so you know I went.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's the segment at 3:00. Where is the podcast? Because the podcast is newer, right?
So Local Love airs on Good Morning Arizona live at 8 a.m. in the 8 a.m. hour, the 9 a.m. hour, usually around 8:45, 9:45.
Okay.
And then we also tape one that airs in the 4 and the 8 and the weekend.
Gotcha.
So when we're featuring you for Local Love, I mean, I love to think of it as a beautiful present of advertising.
Yeah, that's great.
Because it gets so much play. And once again, I have to thank Arizona's family for seeing the value in this work and utilizing it so much, because that's a lot of minutes of television time that it gets within a newscast.
Yeah.
So there's that. So, and then I anchored the 3 p.m. news, which is a hybrid, super local news program where we hit your headlines at 3 and 3:30. So we're going to make sure you know about the car crash. We're going to make sure you know what happened at the protests over graduations. We're going to make sure you know everything that you need to know, the big national story. We're going to make sure you know that. But I'm also going to give you some life hacks. I'm going to tell you about some community events that are coming up, and we're learning a lot together. I love it. I'm utilizing this time to what do they call it? Biohack your life.
Oh yeah,
because these people are expensive. Sometimes their expertise, but maybe if they'll come sit next to me and talk to me for 5 minutes, we can get some knowledge out of it that we can all use for free. So it's really, I once again, much gratitude to the people I work for who kind of let us be unleashed. And then we play in the newsroom a lot and do a lot of kind of behind the scenes stuff. We talk to our reporters about what they're working on for later. If there's a birthday, we go big. And we let everyone come in. If there's Luminati's has some new pizza with a hot honey, which is delicious, we bring all the newsroom in. We talk to all the people. And we let people kind of see behind the curtain a little bit of us hanging out with our friends at work,
which is a connection, you know?
Yeah.
So I really love that I get to be part of something that is kind of unleashed and then also is revealing and transparent, which I think people look for in news. They want to see the newsroom. They want to see, Elliot Polikoff roll up and grab a piece of pizza before going out to the Suns game.
Yeah.
They want to see this stuff. So that's the 3 p.m. news. And then the podcast came.
Yeah.
So the podcast on our 3 p.m. newscast, we highlight all of our podcasts. So we have a ton now.
Okay.
Mark McClune does one. Colton Schoen does one on our Native American community, which is so important and cool.
Nice.
Whitney Clark does one on her book club. Brianna Whitney, of course, does one. Politics Unplugged with Dennis Welch does one. So we hit it all and we highlight them in our 3 p.m. And then I do a weekly podcast that drops every Monday.
Yeah. Nice. Well, it sounds like you guys it matches the name, Arizona Family. Like you guys are a family, and it of having that behind the scenes and that is informalness a word?
Yeah. Well, please, I'd like to put that next to my name in Wikipedia.
Yeah. Well, it's great though. It's so approachable. It really is, and I think it does so much for the people watching it. You can connect to it, right? Like I said, my experience with this type of world is mainly limited to Anchorman, the movie.
Great.
So, but
the only thing I'll tell you a story. The only thing that I relate to on that was Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel, who stood me up in Beaumont, Texas, because I was so excited. So every year there's these kicker stories, like the story that you see of the that plant that blooms and it smells like death.
Oh yeah,
so
I know.
Every year for 25 years of my life, the death plant is blooming. So Twiggy was one of these. There's Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel, and every time you gotta cover Twiggy because everyone wants to see this. I know I do. I called it first in the newsroom. That's in my show. And so anyhow, this squirrel is going to come on my morning show. It didn't show. I got stood up
by a squirrel.
And then I see that squirrel on the 4 p.m. on the other station. I've been mad at that squirrel ever since. They say don't hold a grudge at each up, but I'm holding on this one.
How dare that squirrel.
I don't know if you're a beer fan, but you should make a beer called Stood Up by a Squirrel.
Stood Up by a Squirrel. It sounds like a good line dance. I feel like there's a couple kicks in there.
Get a little water skiing move in there.
There's a lot of potential there, Jamie. So I'll give that one's free.
I'm just going to write that one down.
So, and you're, I'd say 20, 30 episodes into the
I was thinking about it. I started in August, and I think maybe about 50. Maybe 50.
Okay. I got a lot. I got a lot of work. I got to go to Fabio's. I got to catch up on your podcast.
I'm making your list.
Yeah, I know. Please. I listened to the one with Perception, like the episode with Perception.
Aren't they special?
Yeah. I need to get back there. I say it probably once a month. I need to get back to Perception.
Maybe we should go there with my sister.
Yes.
My sister said, Christina, we need to go to
I know.
dinner.
We're overdue to get together. All right, let's do Perception.
There you go.
Wow. And we're committed to it now.
Mora.
Oh.
The pasta at Mora.
I love Mora. And there's that new, under Americano, there's going to be that new bar.
Tell your friends.
Yes.
Thought so. Yes. I told my wife that because my wife loves the Versace on the floor cocktail. We actually, both of us, we quit drinking like 3 months ago.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. And we did a podcast with Undertow last week and their mocktails are incredible.
Yes. I was just going to say, I was over it because they got number 36 on 50 Top Bars and I'm on TV.
Congratulations to that is a huge 50 top bars in the world, right? Or in North America.
Yeah.
And one of our beloved places is on that list.
They were, I think, at 48 before, so they're up. So I can't imagine the jump they're going to make next year because I know those guys. You know those guys.
Yeah,
they're determined.
so talented.
Yeah. So
really
anyhow, they had a mocktail there, and it was delicious.
So good.
And the reason I found out about them, we were with Jason and Kaylee on the train.
Yeah.
And Jason ordered a drink, and it was a mocktail, and to make that mocktail alone, because he was using, it was like a take on a lassie. So like the yogurt, it took a week for some of those ingredients for one mocktail. That's the kind of thought and creativity that goes into those drinks.
Well, we need it because I think people are awakening to, what alcohol can do to the body.
Right.
We want to live longer,
like
happier
sober
lives.
curious, or you just want to cut down. I've tried that. Hasn't worked yet, but I've tried it.
But you know what? If you have a lovely mocktail that tastes delicious, and sometimes just having a glass of something that's beautiful and sparkly, has bubbles. I think.
Hermosa Inn has some really nice mocktails too.
Yeah.
They use that seed lip.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
I
Thank
know.
You. Yeah.
Big deal.
So we're hoping that Americano creates a mocktail of the Versace.
I'm sure
on the
they
floor.
will.
Yeah, they will.
Well, I found out. So when we did the podcast with Undertow, Matt had said, I think Matt, right? Matt
Snap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He said that they actually create their own spirits, their own alcohol, which I thought is incredible. Like it's hard enough to make a mocktail, but to do your own spirits. And then I'm like, and that's to me, that kind of explained why it's so good, because I've had other mocktails that are good. They're good drinks, but you don't feel like you're drinking a cocktail.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, this is good. You drink theirs. You're like, wow, like this is, I didn't feel like I was missing anything.
Too. And I think that's why their price point is justified, because you get a $18 cocktail there that, had all this work, and then an $18 martini, at another place, which is just vodka and vermouth.
Yeah.
Like
no thought at all.
Yeah.
like I just think
Shaking
for
that
all
stir.
the work they go through, like their price point is incredible
Yeah.
considering that.
Well, they said Jason was doing during like when COVID hit, he was working, I think within a year of, the COVID, the shutdown and everything, I think he had like 15 mocktails, which to me shows like that's forward thinking, right? Because I feel it's only the last year or two that like mocktails have really come about. So for Jason Asher to be like, I'm going to create something.
So while everyone else was drinking away their woes,
He's
working on mocktail. Jason, how do you always know? Trendsetter.
Yeah, for sure. That is why who they are. They
and
are.
I gotta
who they
say,
are.
his wife Kaylee is brilliant. I had her on my podcast. If you have a small business and you're wondering about how to market your business,
so smart.
Oh, she wrote a book on it. So
I wrote that.
literally
I wrote that.
You wrote it.
I actually wrote it, Kaylee. No, I read that.
Plagiarism.
Did you read it?
Yeah, mise en place marketing or
yes,
something like that.
mise en
Yeah, it
place.
was really good. It was very approachable. Because with what we do, we see a lot of people like you said, you see these small businesses that, they don't understand, or they just, it's a lot of work to understand the full spectrum of things, especially
they're
marketing.
a baker, they're a chef. They're not a marketing genius.
Yeah.
They're like, I want to make whatever this product is.
Marketing is hard for people who know how to do marketing, let alone someone who does it, so the way that she did it, I commend her for just making it very approachable, very easy to understand, and really giving people a roadmap to market their own thing, so I had actually, you know what, we should have her on the podcast.
Oh, please do.
Yeah,
she's going to drop knowledge.
Yeah we should have a special episode with her specifically about marketing, because we had her and Jason on.
We had
for
that was a
Greyhead.
fun one. We did that at Century Grand.
And I recommend that the listeners take notes, because when she was on my podcast, she was dropping usable information that you could do that day.
Love it. So many great people, and once again, thank you for highlighting them. And like, I never thought of it. I knew that you're, obviously with Local Love, you're providing exposure for people, but at the time slots you were saying, of the number of times that they're featured and stuff, like that's awesome.
Thank
you. That's really incredible. Yeah. And, I'm sure that you have a lot of fans out there, Jamie. Yeah.
I'm fans of the fans.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I always say in the newsroom, and I say it on TV, you do it for the people. Honest to God, you do it for the people. If we're not providing you a benefit, we're not doing our job.
Yeah. I love it. Well, so before we wrap this up, we know you got to get to work here soon. What is there anything that you want to share? Anything that you have coming up that you want to share or shout out?
Well, I think I'm just really grateful for Arizona's family, because it's been a long journey, and for a place that I always wanted to work at, it's when you watch Good Morning Arizona and you watch the people interact with each other, it's just as good as it looks on TV.
Yeah.
This is the best working environment I've been in my 25 years. These people are professionals. They are kind. They are passionate. They build each other up.
Yeah.
Like even our young reporters, our nightsiders, they're in their 20s or 30s. When I was in my 20s or 30s, I had people who were coming after me, within the newsroom. It was not the collaborative. These girls are supporting each other and each other's best friends. I sent them a little love note for the new year, because I was just so touched by their friendship and support of each other. And they have this gift that a lot of us did not grow up with in the business. You're getting stabbed in the back, or go out with one and you reported back what you were wearing and whatnot. Stupid stuff that shouldn't be happening. So I'm just really glad to see that some of the competition thing has changed. More collaboration is being embraced, more kindness across the board. And, sometimes they say nice guys finish last. I think they're starting to win.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think that time has passed. I was remember what it was. I was reading an article about something. They were talking about like we're in an experience economy, and it used to be scarcity was what like provided, like, I'm keeping all my secrets. Like, the scarcity is what was creating value. Where now, if you can't apply this to the masses, it's not valuable, right? So now it's more of that sharing, and it's the more collaborative, and it's that's where the real value is, and I love that. I really do. Out with the old, in with the new. I like it.
For sure.
So what's the future look like for you? Where do you want to, when all is said and done, like what do you have? What would you want to have accomplished? Wow, I had a hard time getting that out. I think you know what I mean, though.
Yeah. I am relishing in the moment I'm in.
Okay.
As far as a TV news job, I am on an 8 to 4 schedule, which I worked 2 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Yeah.
I worked 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. I've worked early morning weekends. To be in an 8 to 4 schedule, I just need people to continue to watch the news at 3 so that we can keep this show going, because I'm just so over the moon that it finally worked out.
Yeah.
And I say finally because, it was a long road. It might have looked cute on TV as I was eating food or petting dogs. Oh, she has the easiest job. You know what I mean? But it's there are things behind the scenes that always happen, and things that are challenging. And we always say it'd be nice if we could enter a show for an Emmy of, you won't believe what happened this day.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's so much fun when you overcome all these different things and still put a product on the air that is fun and interesting and beneficial to the viewer. And you're like, oh my gosh, we did it throughout. So I just want to keep it going. I'm just happy that things are going so well now. I am just over the moon to be in my hometown. My family is here. Yeah. I love them. I have dear friends from college and from 10 years in the business here who have my back. Yeah. So I'm relishing in this moment.
What we talked about earlier, do you feel like things are just getting started? Like, or do you feel?
I hope to God you're right. From your lips to God's ears, Eric.
I love it, but being in the moment, right? Like that's, I think we tend to, look at the past or look too much into the future, but being present and being in this moment and appreciating what you have. And I love it. So
it's a good place to be. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Christina, thank you for
Thanks for having me sit in and listen to more stories about Jaime that I did not know before.
That's the goal. That's my goal always is to,
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah.
And Perception next, right?
To the Phoenician. Oh yeah. You guys are going to.
Sorry.
I'm going to go to Fabio.
Yeah, you have to go to Fabio. You're sent to Fabio.
I have work to do.
Until you attend Fabio, you're not invited to any of our dinners.
Fair enough. Hey, Jackie, I'm going to be a little bit late. I'm going to go. But no, thank you also to the Phoenician for letting us come in. Georgina. And her team. And
can we shout out Wanda too? Where's Wanda? Is she here yet? If you ever come to tea at the Phoenician, Miss Wanda is the best. Tell her I sent you.
Okay. All right. We'll do it. And who was the chef you were talking to?
Becky and also Michelle. A shout out to Michelle and Becky. So that's one of the reasons I love this place. Plus, I mean, it's one of the most stunning views.
Yeah. We don't have quite the equipment yet to be able to like shoot in directly out a window. But if we could, if you guys could see that, if this camera could be turned 45 degrees that way, that view is incredible.
Yeah, we'd be backlit.
Yeah, for sure. I would try. Yeah, I would try it. And then Luke would be like, I don't think that's going to work. I'm like, you are right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's smirking over there.
He acts like he's listening. He ain't listening. But no, Jaime, thank you so much. I know you're busy and I know you have a lot going on. So thank you for making the time to come on. Christina, thank you as always for just being huge supporters of us. Exactly. You know what? Ernesto, shout out to him too. Like he's over there. He looks like he's concentrating.
He's a good support team.
He is. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Where can people find you? Like, where's a good place to follow you? Obviously on the news.
Thank you, yes.
But
you have a great Instagram page.
Oh, thank you. Cerreta News. I figure Jaime and Cerreta are both difficult to spell. Yeah. So Cerreta, 2 R's, 1 T, Cerreta News on the gram, and that should lead you to where you need to go.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.